Alright everybody, Mouse here and welcome to our very first Guild Boss video. So what you're seeing here is a 1.5 billion score that I got. This is the highest score that I was able to do with the resources that I currently have, but this is still not the maximum potential of the account that I'm currently using. I can still do more pretty much because a lot of the things here that I use are just scrap items. So I'm gonna show you guys how I did it, and we're gonna focus more on team composition because the guild boss here is really just a game of team composition. It's not like POD wherein it's a game of shadow step. So this one is a game of spending on your DPS and making them strong and and spending on the limited banners and having them carry your Jinwoo, because as you can see, my Jinwoo is 34M damage and my Alicia is 481M and my Mire is 457M. Chai is pretty decent. I can still improve this, but yeah, so before we begin, so this video is gonna be very in-depth. It's gonna be long. It's not your 8-minute, 10 minutes video. Just a heads up, this is gonna be very in-depth, but I'm not gonna discuss everything here, just the most important things that you can do and the actionable steps that you can do and the strategy. First, let's have you watch the video, the replay first, so that you can observe what I'm doing and what we did there, how we got the score, the movement, and the gameplay. And then we're gonna discuss everything from Jinwoo's build, Hunter's build, team composition, things like those. All right, let's go. Alright, so now let's check Jinwoo's build. So the main strategy there, as you saw, is just to keep spamming Moonshadow as well as the Grimoire book and do the shadow steps. And Jinwoo is pretty much the support unit there. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure why it's like that. And well, we can build Jinwoo into a DPS, but I don't think it's gonna be worth it. And because the banners, like the hunters, are really strong and can really outshines Jinwoo in terms of damage output. Even if you try to do a Jinwoo DPS, you might be able to reach that damage, but the entire team's gonna suffer if we do that. So let's take a look at what I did here. Let's start with the weapon of choice. Moonshadow, of course, is gonna be probably one of the best here. I think it's the best, maybe, but just because of that debuff, of course, 3 stacks of increased damage taken 15%, and dark damage taken increased by 15% as well here. So if you're using a dark unit like Libera, that could help as well. But also, the most important thing here is try to get to A3 so that your shadow step will also have this debuff, of course. And it got recently buffed in the recent patch, and now their team members' damage can also be increased by 15%. And I believe this is only for Jinwoo's party and not for the entire 9 other members. Okay, so I haven't tested that, but I would believe that's gonna be it for this. The other one is this book, and we're only using this for this effect, the deep erosion effect. Haven't done a damage test yet, but the debuff appears there. I would believe that it works. So increase elemental weakness damage taken by 24%. So all of those incoming damage from the hunters are of course elemental damage, which is why this one's I assume it's gonna be very, very effective. The freeze is not needed here. Nothing else is needed here. The cooldown might help, so I think A4 is gonna be like the maximum needed, but A1 is fine. As you can see, my weapon is just 80, level 80. But if I want to deal more damage there on Jinwoo, because that's gonna add some scores as well, right? So if I add like 100M on Jinwoo, that's pretty decent. But I think it worked out pretty well. So for the skills, I used the vacuum wave armor break for that increased target damage taken, and of course it's gonna help as well when it comes to the breaking part, right? And this one is the one I used here, 3 charges of weak break, and the reason is that not only that it can break, it also helps with the grid set stacking. There are other things that you can use here. Probably you can use this one so that there's gonna be not going to be any downtime if you fail your shadow steps between those gaps. You can still get pretty much the decreased defense, and it also decreases the attack. So if your characters are not yet very strong, then this might help as well. You also have choices here. Decreased target defense 15%. You can also use this, and I haven't confirmed if the blessing set will work on Jinwoo to help the team. Okay, the team of 3 that you are gonna use him with. So that's for confirmation. I tried that, but I didn't go deep into it yet. So that's one possibility for compositions. And there are other things here. You can use the shadow step reset here, but I would say that it's not needed anymore. Okay, and so for the artifacts now, as you can see, this is what I'm using. As I've said, this is just like scrap materials testing. Still worked pretty well, I believe. So we have our grid set here, so we can stack the 10 times and help the team with crit damage and crit rate. And we're using Alicia now for our team. I'm gonna show it to you in a bit. So, and this one is just for additional skill cooldown reduction. As you saw, my Moonshadow, I think, was just like 11 seconds cooldown. And since the overall strategy here is really not for Jinwoo to deal damage, but to take advantage of really helping out the team with Moonshadow and the book. For the stats here, as you can see, I put everything. I'm not sure, guys, this is just a test. I put everything here so that I can use these faster. I was having problems with the cooldown of the Grimoire, so I had to improve my I have to improve my cooldown here as well as from the stats so that I can spam more Moonshadow, which is very important, and I can spam more Book just so there wouldn't be a gap wherein there's no deep erosion effect on the enemy. Okay, but I think maybe if I can get into A4 Book, maybe I can transition to a more DPS side Jinwoo with expert sets just so he can also contribute to damage, even just for a bit. That's important because every like 100 there is important, right? If you want to get your highest potential score there. So for the blessing stones, of course, again, another cooldown here. If you have the legendary one, that's pretty OP, like maybe 10 seconds or 9 seconds cooldown. Moonshadow. That's crazy, guys. That's really crazy. So this one is very important, of course. This is a must-have. Bloodlust. In case you haven't watched my video test on the defense decrease debuff, it's one of the, like, it's the most massive like increase in damage if you pair it with Shadow Steps. So if you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend that you do, just so you will have an idea on how impactful this is, and all the other defense decrease debuff. For this one, swiftness, you can get extra dash so that you can play more easily with Shadow Steps, and since the map is huge, the enemy is jumping around, and you kind of have to have this because you need to reposition yourselves fast. Okay, so this is the main purpose of this. I don't think I would play that map without this, because sometimes the enemy is facing the other way around and then instantly go face somewhere else, so it's not easy to track that. So the next one is the VR1. This is the new blessing stone. Basically, you're gonna get improved stats on all the hunters that you have, as well as on Jinwoo if they have the same elements. So up to 7% here on heroic. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for Jinwoo. Just to show you the full stats here, like trash stats. Really trash stats. That's really bad stats there. So let's take a look at the main lineup here. So this is the lineup that I used. We're gonna go over these one by one. Just a quick unskippable ads, guys. If you still need some codes, we still have like thousands of Essence Stones codes here, and Rune Fragment and Mana Imbued Fabric here that can give away. So if you want to get one, or if you just love our content, make sure that you have already supported us here in the SLA Content Creator Program. And thank you so much, guys, for the support. We now have like 656, number 9. So thanks so much to our top 10 supporters here, PB Juice, and a lot of you guys here. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. This would help me a lot, like continue doing what we're doing here, so that you would have more ideas. I already did a lot of tests, and I think this is very close to what I am trying to achieve. There's just one thing that I want to change here, which is to add Choi to my lineup with an A5 weapon. And other than that, I think pretty much maybe we'll try Gogunhee soon, I think. Again, guys, this strategy relies heavily on your Hunter's team. This is not a Jinwoo centered strategy, so this may or may not work for you. If you don't have like a reliable DPS on your Hunter's team, this may not work. Maybe that would be better to use a DPS Jinwoo instead. Okay, so that is on a case-to-case basis. It just so happened that I have focused a lot of my resources on my DPSs right now, especially on Mirai and Alicia. Look at the weapons. I focused all my recent red weapon designs to Mirai and Mamiya. So let's talk about team number 1. We have here, of course, I won't go over like the basic ones that we already know. Okay, so we have here Alicia plus Maylin Fisher, of course, but we added Juhi here. So Lee Juhi here is kind of necessary in my opinion, because if you try the guild boss, you watch the fight, Alicia is having like serious mana problems, like MP problems. She couldn't use skills continuously, like she always stops, right? And the damage will reflect that. Even without Saw here with the grid set, then it worked out well. And that is why you kind of have to transfer your grid set to the team. So that's what I did. So I just used 4-piece grid set just so we won't lose that much in comparison to the 8-piece set, which is what we would normally have. And Juhi will be supplying mana on Alicia and as well as on Jinwoo, I believe. So that's pretty much it. She can offer a lot of other things, but that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is my mail-in feature. And by the way, guys, just to kind of give you an idea, like a support unit with heal and tanky and that can actually heal is necessary in the guild boss. So you kind of want to have mail-in feature, Min, and Hansemi there. So right now I'm using the Burning Blessing set here. So this got recently buffed, wherein when you use your ult, you're gonna get the damage increase from there. And the reason we do that, the reason why it's okay to use that on mail-in features, because if you have your weapon leveled up or advanced, you can get the decrease ultimate skill cooldown. And of course at A3, if you have A3 mail-in feature, then you can pretty much charge up your power gauge really fast. Okay, so that's one. And for the other support, which is just Juhi, I just use the Guardian set to kind of protect her a bit. This is my old level 55 Guardian set to kind of help her as well with stats and the shield, and of course to give the team a damage increase. And we also have here the Sylph Blessing to get that elemental damage increase up, stacking up to 3 times. Alright, so you can also interchange all of these. Actually, it kind of depends. So I'm not sure if this one can be used here instead, and you can use this here instead and use one hit kill for faster stacking of the Sylph's Blessings. But this is what I did. I think it worked out pretty well. I think it's fine. Maybe we can just do these testing. For Alicia, of course, Alicia will cast the shield, of course. So you're gonna get the benefit from the Guardian set. And for any DPS here, I believe Expert set is still gonna be the best here, because the Burning Curse got buffed as well, so that you're gonna get a really good bonus already at 4-piece set. I think it's the best option most of the time, especially if you already have the level 75 expert set. Alright, so for the stats, 20k attack, 180 crit damage, exactly 49 crit rate, and damage increase. So we already re-optimized our characters for the build that we want. Okay, and just to let you know, POD and the guild boss has the same stats when it comes to the defense side. So if you watch my video, you're gonna know how much damage output you're gonna get by adding defense decrease, penetration, things like those. So for the second team, we have Hansemi, Woojinchul, of course, plus Mirei Amamiya. So let's just take a look at their builds first. Let's start with Hansemi, because this one's the new unit here. Like I said, you guys gotta have really good stats here, and the skills just right. We have our weapon here for increased damage taken. I think this is very useful. A lot of people are saying like it's trash, blah blah blah. I don't think it's a trash. It's just that it's very niche, and it will only shine on guild boss and nowhere else, because the duration is kind of low. If you max it out, you can get that for 10 seconds, and you kind of need that because Hansemi's skills are have a very long cooldown at 15 seconds and 30 seconds here. I think it might be improved in the future, but who knows. She's a healer, of course. She provides shield to the team. She provides that mana regen, strengthens Mirei specifically. A lot of regen, lots of shield, lots of buffs. So basically that's it. That's pretty much it. And of course, she also improves the basic damage, which is why Jinchul will also have decent damage. So for Jinchul, it's like pretty standard as well, just using the 8-piece. There you go. Nothing special here. And the weapon as well. And then for Mirei Amamiya, this is the stats. So For Miri Mamiya, you want 2.5k MP. You can stop there again to get the 40% attack bonus. My attack is 24.8k, critical rate 50%. I mean, I need to improve this a bit and lessen this a bit. And defense penetration damage increase and wind damage. Skills, of course, this one's the most important. So I'm still using a curse set here because prior to the patch. I think curse set is still good for Miri Mamiya, especially if you have lots of dimensional advancements. And of course, because she already has a lot of attack percent from her kit. But I think I need to get an expert set for Miri for that purpose. So the third team is Min Cha, of course, and as well as Libora. So I think Cha is good here, even if she doesn't have any like that massive DPS like Alicia or Mirei. She contributes a lot to the team by giving that branded debuff, right? So I think Cha is still a good option. We already tried Suyun. I don't know if it's bugged, but doesn't perform well here, which is kind of funny because a lot of people before are like saying, "Oh, Suyun's gonna be needed for the guild boss," and apparently, I don't think she's gonna be used here at all. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a bug in terms of the damage counter, but I already tried it a lot. My friends already tried it a lot. And we really don't see any potential here. And she doesn't have any utility that can be used here like the branded debuff. So yeah, so Chahae-in, really good option. Min as well, of course. Again, you need healer. And of course, Libora's debuff and a bit of DPS. So let's take a look at the gears here. So I have an Angel in White set here for that damage increase plus healing. And then of course we also have that Sylph's Blessing. I think this is very important now. And then I have Libora here with the DPS set, but I think we can use here a Blessing set or maybe a Destroyer set. That's fine too. Or maybe we can interchange these. But the good thing about using a Blessing set here with Libora is that she can also use the ult much faster than usual because she has that cooldown reduction on her ult Dark Charm Meg by 25% if you're already at A4. And of course, the most useful thing here really is this increased damage taken, just to kind of feed more damage output to the main DPSs. For Chahae-in, we have here the stats here. And the skills, I have to improve this. I think I would max this out, and I would also max out the Dancer just to give more DPS on the guild boss because that's one of the priority game contents right now. And then we're still using the 4-piece curse set plus the 4-piece expert set. Although I think one hit kill is still okay, but the one major problem about Chahae-in there in the guild boss is that she also loses mana like Alicia. She has that mana problem. So I'm not sure how that's gonna be. We might change Chahae-in in the lineup in the future, but we're gonna have to wait for Gogunhee and how impactful Gogunhee will be when it comes to the light team. But for now, this is what we use. Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's gonna be other things here that could potentially be useful when it comes to the mana problems. Maybe there's a buff here that can improve mana regen. I'm not sure. Haven't checked those. We haven't unlocked it yet. And by the way, guys, if you're still looking for a guild, our guild is still recruiting. Not this guild because our main guild is already full, but we do have a lot of sister guilds still recruiting. If you have 650k and above total power, I'm gonna put the link in the description for the Discord channel where you can apply if you're still looking for one. So I think I'm gonna stop here for now, and if you want to keep learning more about Guild Boss, I might do a series on this as well, depending on if it's gonna be needed. And if you want to stay up to date, make sure that you subscribe here. And if you love these types of content, feel free to support me in the SLA Content Creator Program. I think that's gonna be it. I'm just gonna update you on my second run. I'm gonna re-optimize all of these, and hopefully we can reach around 1.7 billion score, 1.8 billion with the things we have here. But I think it's gonna be hard because a lot of these are now gonna depend on having like the blessing stones, like a legendary bloodlust. That's gonna have a lot of impact in terms of damage output, as well as the overall optimized setup of my characters, especially Jinwoo. If I could still add more damage on Jinwoo, I think I'm gonna be able to reach my goal for this week. Alright, so yeah, thanks so much and see you on the next one.